Hello friends, it's Julie Wagler here, and you can see that I'm in my fort. Well, when I was a kid, building a fort was one of my favorite winter activities. My dad used to put a big pile of snow in the turnaround, and my brother and I would dig it out and make a tunnel. Or at school, I'd build a fort like this with nice big blocks of snow with my friends at recess. It was a lot of work, but boy, was it a lot of fun. I hope that a lot of you have had a chance to build a fort this winter too, since we've had a pretty good amount of snow. So as I've been driving around looking at other people's forts, I've been thinking about how God is a fortress and how the Bible says that. So I did a little bit of research on what those words mean and what is a fortress used for. So I thought a few pictures of fortresses and walled cities would help you picture it in your mind as I'm kind of talking about it. So a fortress, or a fort for short, is a military stronghold where people are not harmed by things or people from the outside. So what is a stronghold, you may ask? A stronghold is a strong defensive structure built to protect against an attack. So these places would often have huge walls to protect the buildings and town. They would often be really high on a hill so that it was hard to climb and easy for someone to look out and watch and see if an enemy was approaching. And there were often watchtowers where people would watch for that. And there was quite often as well a gated entrance to the city or the building. The Bible talks about many places with walled cities and fortresses and strongholds like Jerusalem, Canaan, Jericho, just to name a few. Obviously, these towns and structures were quite a bit stronger than my snow fort here, because they would have had huge stones and bricks and taken many, many years to build. You might wonder why or when do we need protection? Well, we need protection when Satan comes to attack our minds and our thoughts. He pollutes our minds with bad thoughts about other people. He tempts us to be selfish and want everything for ourselves. He tempts us to be proud and boastful and thinking we're better than other people. He tempts us to be greedy and wanting to keep everything for ourselves. He tempts us to be obsessed with things like money and toys and gadgets, clothes, fancy cars and houses. He tempts us to just have a bad attitude or be jealous about other people. He tries to distract us and make us really busy so that we don't have time to be with God, singing and worshiping, listening and having a relationship with Him. He tempts us to be afraid when things change in the world that we can't control. He lies to us that we're not a good enough person, or smart enough, or strong enough, or pretty enough, or handsome enough, or have enough friends. Satan will do whatever it takes for us to become distracted and lose our focus on Jesus. So, what can we do when Satan comes to attack our thoughts and feelings? We turn to God, who is always there to help us. So we can pray to God to help us resist the lies of their enemy, so that He can help us not to be afraid, help us to change our attitudes. We can also read the Bible, because words written there remind us of God's character, about how He is loving and forgiving, strong and mighty. King David wrote about God's love and protection many times through the Bible, in the Psalms, and his words still help us today. He turned to God whenever he was lonely or afraid, needed forgiveness, or wanted to praise and worship God. I chose 3 short passages from Psalms that talk about being a fortress and protector. So Psalm 18, 1-3 says, I love you, Lord, my strength. The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer. My God, my rock, in whom I take refuge. My shield and the horn of my salvation. My stronghold. I call upon the Lord, who is worthy to be praised, and I am saved from my enemies. Psalm 46, 1-3 says, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth gives way, though the mountains will be moved into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, though the mountains tremble at its swelling. And Psalm 144, 1 and 2 says, Blessed be the Lord, my rock, who trains my hand for war and my fingers for battle. He is my steadfast love and my fortress, my stronghold and my deliverer, my shield, in whom I take refuge, who subdues people under me. So, there's a hymn written by Martin Luther in 1525 that's called A Mighty Fortress is Our God. And that hymn was running through my head as I was preparing for this lesson and thinking about a fortress. So probably a lot of parents and grandparents know that hymn, so ask someone if they know that one, and maybe look it up together online and see if you can play the song. It's a really neat hymn with very strong words about God's strength and power and deliverance, and it was sung by many martyrs when they were taken away to be killed for their faith. So even though these people knew that they were facing death, they knew that God was stronger, He was their fortress and their deliverer, and they knew God was going to take care of their spirit after their life on earth was over. You can probably also think of other songs about God's strength and protection, and maybe you can sing them and think about them, and think about God as their fortress, and build a fort this week. Well, friends, I hope you have a great week, and go have fun and play in the snow before it all melts. Bye for now.